If you're reading this and you're over 60, I want to invite you to slow down for a moment and really take in what I'm about to say. Not to scare you, not to overwhelm you, but to open your eyes, to give you something that far too many people your age never get until it's too late: clarity. You see, in your younger years, your body was more forgiving. It bounced back after long nights, poor diets, missed doctor visits, and even years of taking supplements without much thought. But as the seasons of life shift, so does the balance of your body. What you once tolerated easily can now tip the scales. The truth is, every pill you take, every supplement you swallow, is no longer just a routine. It's a message you're sending to your body, and your heart is always listening. I know you mean well. You've likely worked hard all your life. You've tried to do the right thing. Maybe you eat relatively healthy, take walks, stay hydrated, and keep a small army of pills in your cabinet marked vitamins or heart support. You've been told these pills are good for you, that they'll help you live longer, stay stronger, and maybe even feel younger. And why wouldn't you believe that? After all, they're sold in bright boxes, recommended by ads, and trusted by millions. But what if I told you that some of those very pills are slowly wearing down the very organ they claim to protect? What if the things you take every morning out of habit, out of hope, out of fear, are silently doing the opposite of what you intend? As a heart doctor, I've sat across from too many older adults who came into my office feeling fine, absolutely fine. They had no symptoms, no complaints, just routine checkups. They told me proudly about their health routines and showed me the supplements they took each morning like clockwork. But then, the tests: elevated blood pressure, irregular rhythms, plaque buildup in arteries, and sometimes a heart struggling to do its job. And here's the hardest part to hear: many of these patients were doing everything right. They didn't smoke, they weren't overweight, they took their medications, and yet something was quietly working against them, the very supplements they trusted. You may be surprised to learn that vitamins and supplements are not universally safe. In fact, in certain cases, especially for aging adults, they can be outright dangerous. Unlike prescription medications, which are carefully dosed and monitored, supplements are often self-prescribed, overdosed, and misunderstood. They're stacked into morning pill boxes, added to shopping carts without consultation, and combined without consideration for the fragile balance of an aging body. You see, your heart doesn't just respond to your emotions. It responds to your habits, to your sleep, to your stress, to your movement, and yes, to what you swallow. That vitamin you think is helping may be overloading your system. That daily tablet may be thinning your blood too much, building up calcium in the wrong places, or disrupting the electrical rhythm of your heartbeat. And the worst part? You may not feel a thing until it's too late. I'm not writing this to tell you that all supplements are bad. They're not. Some are genuinely helpful, some are even essential, but they must be used with wisdom and, most importantly, with understanding. The older you get, the more intentional you must become. So let me ask you this: when was the last time you reviewed your supplement routine, not with a friend or a TV ad, but with a trained professional who understands how aging bodies respond to these substances? When was the last time you asked your doctor, do I actually need all of these? Or better yet, could any of these be causing harm? Because the truth is, behind the marketing and the health promises, there are risks, real risks. And I want to walk you through the 5 biggest ones I see in my daily practice. 5 supplements that are quietly sabotaging the heart health of well-meaning seniors across the world. 5 ingredients that are so common, so accepted, and yet so misunderstood. We're going to name them. We're going to explore why they're harmful, not in general, but specifically for your heart at your age. We're going to talk about what to use instead, and how to know when a supplement is truly serving you, or simply filling a shelf in your cabinet and creating silent stress in your chest. But most of all, we're going to do something that few people are willing to do anymore. We're going to slow down, look closer, and ask better questions. Because this isn't about fear, it's about freedom. Freedom from pills that promise the world but deliver nothing. Freedom from blind routines. Freedom to truly protect the organ that has carried you through every decade of your life, every joy, every loss, every breath: your heart. Vitamin number 1, iDose Vitamin E, the silent risk. Let's begin where most people would never think to look, with a vitamin that has been praised, promoted, and passed around as a miracle antioxidant for decades: vitamin E. It's in your multivitamin. It's in your heart healthy supplement pack. It's on the label of anti aging capsules and memory boosters. For many older adults, vitamin E is as routine as brushing your teeth. But here's what no one ever told you: vitamin E, especially in high doses, is not harmless. In fact, it may be quietly working against your heart, slowly, silently, and without warning. You see, in proper amounts and in natural forms, vitamin E does play a helpful role. It protects cells from damage, supports immune function, and helps with inflammation. But like most things in life, even water, even oxygen, too much can shift from helpful to harmful. And in the case of high dose vitamin E, that shift can be catastrophic for an aging heart. Let me show you how. Most people think if a little bit is good, more must be better. That logic is why millions of older adults take 400 IU, 800 IU, sometimes even 1,000 IU of vitamin E daily, believing they're doing something good for their heart. After all, vitamin E is an antioxidant, right? Shouldn't it be protecting your cells, preventing heart disease, slowing aging? In theory, yes. But in practice, that's not what happens. What studies now show, and what I've seen firsthand in my clinic, is that high dose vitamin E acts very differently in older bodies. It begins to affect how your blood behaves, thinning it, changing the way it clots, interacting dangerously with medications like aspirin or warfarin, or even over the counter anti inflammatories. And here's the risk no one warns you about: internal bleeding, hemorrhagic strokes, slowed healing, sudden bruising, mysterious dizziness. Often it's written off as just getting older, but beneath the surface, your body may be struggling to maintain the balance between blood flow and blood loss. I've sat across from countless patients, people just like you, who came in for a routine checkup and walked out stunned. There was a woman in her late 60s. She walked 2 miles every morning, ate oatmeal and blueberries for breakfast, took her supplements religiously, including a 1,000 IU vitamin E capsule because she read online it was good for the heart. But she started bruising easily. Her heartbeat felt off. One morning, she woke up with blood in her stool. Panic, tests, CT scans, blood work. What did we find? No tumors, no major disease, but dangerously thin blood. And one of the biggest culprits, that harmless vitamin E. She didn't need it. Her body was already doing fine with what she got through food. But every day, that extra pill was quietly pushing her closer to risk. And no one had told her. Here's something many people don't realize: your heart is not just a pump, it's an orchestra. It beats with rhythm, coordination, precision. But vitamin E in excess can interfere with those natural signals. It can alter the electrical impulses that keep your heart's rhythm steady and strong. When those signals get confused, your heart can skip beats. It can flutter, hesitate, or race uncontrollably. Over time, this isn't just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. Irregular heart rhythms can lead to fainting, stroke, or sudden cardiac events. And again, most people don't connect this to a supplement. But you should, especially if you're also taking medications that affect heart rhythm, especially if you've ever experienced palpitations or sudden fatigue. The interaction may not be dramatic, but it is cumulative. What makes high-dose vitamin E so deceptive is how quiet the damage is. There are no warning bells, no sharp pain to signal trouble, no rash or fever to alert you. Instead, it builds quietly, little by little over weeks, months, even years. And then, a stroke, a bleed, a fall, a heart rhythm gone out of control. By the time symptoms appear, the damage is often already done. That's why awareness is so important, because what you don't feel can still be fatal. So, what's the alternative? It's simpler than you think. Eat your vitamin E. Don't swallow it in a pill. The body was designed to absorb nutrients from real food: almonds, sunflower seeds, spinach, avocado, olive oil. These sources provide vitamin E in safe, balanced amounts, along with other nutrients that help it work properly in your system. When you eat a handful of nuts, you're not just getting vitamin E. You're getting fiber, healthy fats and minerals that work in harmony. But when you take an isolated synthetic dose of 800 IU in pill form, your body doesn't always know how to manage it. And over time, that can throw your internal balance off. Here's what I tell every patient who walks into my office with a supplement list. Ask yourself, why am I taking this? Has a doctor ever recommended this based on my actual blood work? Am I taking more than 200 IU of vitamin E per day? Am I combining it with blood thinners or other medications? Can I get this nutrient from food instead? And most importantly, don't be afraid to stop something just because it's been part of your routine. Stopping something that's quietly harming you is not a failure. It's wisdom. It's protection. It's love for the heart that has carried you this far. You don't need to be afraid. You don't need to toss every supplement in your cabinet. But you do need to look again, with better information, with professional guidance, and with the courage to say, just because I believed it once doesn't mean it's right for me now. The heart is remarkably forgiving. It's never too late to reduce the harm, to make a better choice, to listen more carefully to what your body is truly asking for. So take this moment as an invitation, not to fear your vitamins, but to understand them, and to let your next choice be one of intention, not assumption. Now let's move on to another common supplement, one that seems essential, especially after 60, but without the right companion, could be hardening your arteries from the inside out. Vitamin number 2, calcium without vitamin K2, the hard truth about hardening arteries. For decades, calcium has been treated almost like a sacred nutrient, especially among older adults. You've probably heard it said 100 times. Calcium keeps your bones strong, it prevents fractures, it's the key to staying upright and independent as you age. And so, like millions of other seniors, you may have added a calcium supplement to your daily routine, believing without question that it was the right move for your health. But here's a truth very few people will tell you. When calcium is taken without its essential partner, vitamin K2, it can become a slow-moving threat to your heart. Yes, the same mineral meant to protect your bones could, without the proper guidance, end up hardening your arteries and silently putting your heart at risk. You see, calcium doesn't travel through your body with a map in hand. It doesn't automatically know to go to your bones. Without clear direction, calcium can deposit itself in places it was never meant to be: your arteries, your joints, even your kidneys. And when it settles in your arteries, it leads to a condition called arterial calcification, where your blood vessels become rigid, stiff, and narrow. This stiffness forces your heart to work harder, raising your blood pressure and increasing the risk of serious complications like stroke and heart failure. I've seen this play out in real patients, older adults who thought they were doing everything right, taking their calcium every day, only to discover years later that their arteries had become like stone, and their hearts were struggling against a pressure they didn't even know existed. The missing piece in this equation is vitamin K2. It's not just another letter in the alphabet of nutrition, it's the traffic controller that tells calcium where to go. Specifically, K2 activates proteins in your body that guide calcium away from your soft tissues and into your bones, where it belongs. Without enough K2, calcium is like a delivery truck with no address. And tragically, many of the most popular calcium supplements on the market today don't include K2 at all. They contain calcium, maybe a bit of vitamin D, but the crucial guidance system, K2, is nowhere to be found. That omission isn't just incomplete, it's dangerous. It creates an imbalance that your aging body is less and less able to manage on its own. I remember one patient clearly, a retired builder in his early 70s. He was strong, proud, and disciplined. He took his supplements, avoided processed foods, and stayed active. His bone scans were excellent, but he began to notice chest tightness, dizziness, and shortness of breath. When we ran tests, we found significant calcification in his arteries. He was stunned. "But I've been taking calcium to stay healthy," he told me. And I had to explain the painful irony that same calcium, taken without K2, had likely contributed to the very problem we were now facing. We adjusted his supplement routine, added K2, shifted him toward calcium-rich foods instead of pills, and slowly, over time, his heart began to find relief. He was lucky. We caught it before the damage became irreversible. but so many others never get that chance. The older you get, the more delicate your internal balance becomes. Your blood vessels are no longer as flexible as they once were. Your kidneys may not filter as efficiently. Your metabolism slows. All of this makes your body more vulnerable to mineral buildup and imbalance. A supplement that once seemed harmless in your 40s or 50s can become risky in your 60s and 70s. And that's why it's so important to treat calcium not just as a helpful nutrient, but as a powerful tool that must be handled with care and precision. More is not better. Blindly taking pills is not the answer. What your body needs now is not excess, but wisdom. So what should you do instead? First, check your supplements. If you're taking calcium, does it include vitamin K2, specifically MK7 or MK4, the most effective forms? Is it paired with magnesium, which helps regulate calcium absorption? Are you taking more than you need? Most seniors only require 500 to 700 milligrams of supplemental calcium per day if they're not getting enough from food. Second, consider moving away from pills altogether and focusing on calcium-rich foods. Leafy greens like kale and bok choy, yogurt, cheese, sardines with bones, sesame seeds, and tofu made with calcium sulfate are all excellent sources. These foods offer calcium in a form your body understands, balanced, supported by other nutrients, and far less likely to cause harm. The key lesson here is balance over blind belief. The supplement industry thrives on the idea that more is better, that age requires more pills, more dosages, more insurance in a bottle. But your heart doesn't want more. It wants balance, attention, and care. It wants you to ask the questions others forget to ask. Is this nutrient going where it's supposed to go? Am I helping or hurting? Is there a better, safer, wiser way? So the next time you reach for that calcium supplement, take a moment, read the label, ask the questions. And above all, remember that you don't need to fear calcium, but you do need to understand it, because the same substance that strengthens bones can harden arteries. And the difference between healing and harm might come down to one overlooked ingredient, vitamin K2. In the next section, we'll turn our attention to a supplement that's often taken out of fear of fatigue. It's listed in nearly every multivitamin. It's praised for energy and strength. But when taken unnecessarily, it doesn't just overload the body. It damages the very heart it claims to support. Let's talk about iron, and why, for many seniors, it may be doing far more harm than good. Vitamin number 3, unnecessary iron supplements. The danger of what you don't need. There's a strange irony in the world of supplements. Sometimes the things we believe we lack the most are the things slowly building up inside us to dangerous levels. Iron is a perfect example. It's one of the most misunderstood nutrients in the world of aging. Most people associate iron with strength, energy, and vitality. It's the mineral that builds red blood cells, combats fatigue, and is often the first thing people think of when they feel tired or weak. And for years, seniors have been told to add it to their routines just in case they're not getting enough, just in case it boosts energy, just in case it keeps them sharp. But what if your body isn't lacking iron at all? What if the iron you're swallowing each morning is slowly collecting in places it doesn't belong? Your liver, your brain, your joints, and worst of all, your heart? Here's the truth that many supplement labels don't want you to know. Your body has no natural way of getting rid of excess iron. Unlike water-soluble vitamins that flush out in your urine, iron doesn't exit easily. When you take more than your body needs, it doesn't simply disappear. It stays. It builds up. It stores itself deep within your tissues. And over time, it begins to rust you from the inside out. That rust, known in medical terms as oxidative stress, is silent, slow, and deadly. It damages your cells. It weakens your heart muscle. It disrupts your heartbeat. It increases inflammation. And it does all of this without announcing itself, until one day, the damage is already done. That tiredness you feel? It might not be from iron deficiency. It might be from iron overload. I've treated countless older adults who came to me feeling sluggish. They were convinced they needed more iron. Maybe they'd seen it in a multivitamin. Maybe someone told them it helped with fatigue. So they added it to their routine. But when we ran their blood work, their ferritin levels, the marker of stored iron, were already elevated, some dangerously so, and the symptoms they thought were from a lack of iron, joint pain, memory issues, low energy, those were the exact symptoms of iron toxicity. In trying to fix a problem they didn't have, they were creating one they couldn't feel, until it was too late. One of the most dangerous things about unnecessary iron is that it's often hidden in plain sight. You don't have to buy a bottle labeled iron supplement to be consuming too much. Many multivitamins for seniors still include iron, despite the fact that most older adults don't need it unless diagnosed with a specific deficiency. It's in fortified cereals, protein shakes, and some processed foods. If you're not paying close attention, you could be getting more than your body knows what to do with. And once that buildup begins, it doesn't just stop on its own. The heart is especially vulnerable. Iron in excess damages the mitochondria, the tiny energy factories inside each heart cell. It interferes with the electrical impulses that keep your heartbeat regular. It contributes to thickened walls, decreased flexibility, and increased risk of arrhythmias. It's a slow process, but a powerful one. One day you feel fine. The next, you're facing unexpected heart palpitations, a spike in blood pressure, or an ER visit that no one saw coming. And unless someone checks your iron levels, they may never connect the dots. So, what's the answer? It's simple. Never supplement with iron unless you've been diagnosed with a deficiency by a doctor. Not guessed, not assumed, not because you feel tired or read an article online. Only blood work can tell you if your body truly needs it. And even then, any iron supplement should be temporary, carefully dosed, and regularly monitored. Because the consequences of excess are far more dangerous than the mild fatigue of a busy day. Instead of blindly reaching for iron, consider the real causes of your fatigue: poor sleep, dehydration, stress, nutrient imbalance, hormonal shifts. All of these are far more common than iron deficiency and far more safely addressed. And if you really want to support your blood and energy levels naturally, eat iron-rich foods in moderation. Lentils, spinach, pumpkin seeds, and lean meats contain iron in absorbable forms that your body can better regulate. When paired with vitamin C-rich foods, the absorption improves even more, without risking overload. The deeper message here is this: your body doesn't need guesswork. It needs understanding. What once worked for you at age 40 may no longer be wise at 70. Your body's storage systems have changed. Your filters have changed. Your risk factors have changed. That means your supplement strategy must change too. Taking more of something you don't need doesn't make you healthier. It makes you vulnerable. So the next time you consider taking iron, or continue taking it because it's in the mix, pause, ask your doctor, get tested, and remember, fatigue is not always a sign of deficiency. Sometimes it's a quiet call to simplify, rebalance, and let your body breathe without the burden of unnecessary substances. Your heart will thank you for it, not with words, but with strength, rhythm, and years of steady service ahead. In the next section, we'll turn our attention to a vitamin often found in brain boosters and sleep aids, one that seems completely harmless but in high doses can quietly damage both your nerves and the rhythm of your heart. Let's talk about vitamin B6 and the strange way it tricks us into thinking it's safe, while doing the very opposite. Vitamin number 4, excess, vitamin B6, the numbness you thought was aging. There's a certain kind of discomfort that many older adults begin to accept as normal: the strange tingling in the fingers or toes, the slight numbness in the hands, the occasional imbalance while walking, the flutter in your chest when you're resting. At first, it feels like nothing, just aging, right? Just your body slowing down. But what if I told you that some of these symptoms may not be just age? What if they were caused by something you're doing every single day without realizing it? Something you believe is helping, but in truth may be harming you from the inside out? I'm talking about vitamin B6, specifically too much of it. It sounds impossible. Isn't B6 one of the safe ones? Isn't it water-soluble? Doesn't your body flush out what it doesn't need? That's what most people think, and that's what makes this vitamin so quietly dangerous. Because unlike other B vitamins that exit the body quickly, vitamin B6 can actually build up in your tissues over time, especially when taken in large, unnecessary doses. Vitamin B6 is often promoted as a feel-good nutrient. It's included in sleep aids, energy boosters, memory enhancers, and nearly every brain health supplement targeted at seniors. It's praised for supporting mood, nerve function, metabolism, and mental clarity. And because it's labeled as natural and essential, many people assume there's no risk, no limit, no downside. But the reality is different. When your body has more B6 than it can use, it starts to accumulate, first in small amounts, then gradually more. And once it crosses a certain threshold, it begins to attack the very systems it was meant to protect, especially your nervous system and your heart. Over the years, I've had dozens of patients come into my office complaining of strange symptoms: tingling in the limbs, burning sensations, loss of coordination, muscle weakness, heart palpitations that come and go without warning. Often they've already been told by others, "That's just aging. That's just how it is now." But when I look at their supplement list and see a daily vitamin B6 intake of 50 milligrams, 100 milligrams, sometimes even more, far beyond the recommended daily amount of 2 milligrams, I begin to see the real picture. These people aren't falling apart because they're getting older. They're being affected by vitamin toxicity, and they have no idea it's happening. Excess vitamin B6 slowly damages the protective sheath around your nerves, a condition known as sensory neuropathy. It doesn't hit you all at once. It creeps in, unnoticed. One day your fingers feel a little tingly, then your feet fall asleep more often, then your balance feels just a bit off, and before long, your ability to move, feel, and respond becomes compromised. You may stumble, you may fear falling, you may feel disconnected from your own body, and never realize that a so-called safe vitamin is quietly to blame. But it doesn't stop with the nerves. High levels of B6 can also interfere with the electrical impulses that keep your heart in rhythm. Your heart doesn't beat on accident. It follows a carefully orchestrated set of signals. When those signals are disrupted, your heart can skip beats, beat irregularly, or suddenly accelerate. Over time, this increases your risk of arrhythmias, strokes, and even cardiac arrest. The most alarming part is how easy it is to overdose. Many over-the-counter supplements contain 20 to 50 times the daily required amount of B6. It's hidden in energy drinks, in fortified cereals, in protein powders, in multivitamins labeled senior support. Even if you're not taking a direct B6 supplement, you may be unknowingly stacking your intake from multiple sources. It adds up quickly, and your body, especially after 60, can't clear it fast enough. That's why the safest and wisest way to get B6 is through food. Nature offers it in perfect doses, in bananas, chickpeas, poultry, potatoes, and whole grains. These foods nourish your nervous system without overwhelming it. They support heart function without throwing off its rhythm. And most importantly, they work in harmony with the rest of your diet and your body's needs. So, what should you do if you've been taking vitamin B6 for years? First, don't panic. Most of the time, the damage can be reversed if caught early. But you need to act. Bring your full supplement list to your doctor. Ask to have your B6 levels tested. If you're taking more than 10 milligrams daily without medical supervision, it's time to reconsider. If you're experiencing numbness, tingling, imbalance, or palpitations, don't just write it off as getting older. It could be your body's way of crying out for change. You don't need to throw everything away. You don't need to fear every pill, but you do need to ask better questions. You do need to understand that more is not always better. And you do need to trust that your body will often tell you when something is wrong, if you're willing to listen. The goal is not to eliminate all supplements. The goal is to bring them into balance with wisdom and care. Your body at 60, 70, or 80 is not the same as it was at 30. It's more sensitive, more precise, and more vulnerable to overload, and that means you must become more precise too. The same attention you give to your medications, to your appointments, to your diet, you must now give to your supplements, because they are not neutral. They are not harmless. They are choices, and every choice you make can either strengthen your heart and nervous system or slowly, silently erode them. Next, we're going to look at something even more surprising: the multivitamin itself. That innocent-looking pill you've trusted for years, with a label full of promises, might be packed with fillers, megadoses, and hidden stimulants that could be sabotaging your heart without you knowing. Let's uncover the truth about so-called heart-healthy multivitamins and why, when it comes to supplements, sometimes less truly is more. Vitamin number 5, multivitamins with filler ingredients, the pill that promised too much. Walk into any pharmacy, grocery store, or even the health aisle of your local supermarket, and you'll see an entire wall dedicated to supplements. There they are, brightly colored bottles labeled Heart Health, Senior Vitality, 50 Plus Essentials, and Complete Wellness. Each one promises energy, clarity, strength, and protection. And somewhere along the way, most older adults decide to pick one up. It feels responsible. It feels safe. After all, it's a multivitamin. How could that possibly be harmful? But the truth hiding beneath those glossy labels is this. Many multivitamins marketed to seniors are packed with unnecessary fillers, hidden stimulants, and megadoses that your aging body may no longer tolerate. What's supposed to support your heart might be quietly working against it every single day. Let's begin with a simple fact. Not all multivitamins are created equal. Some are thoughtfully formulated, backed by research, and dosed appropriately. But many others are designed for mass production, mass marketing, and maximum shelf appeal. They're loaded with ingredients that sound impressive but serve no real purpose, unless that purpose is to overwhelm your system. I've seen seniors develop symptoms like high blood pressure, irregular heartbeat, sudden dizziness, and even liver stress, not because of disease, but because of what they were unknowingly consuming every morning under the innocent name of a multivitamin. When we dug deeper, the common thread wasn't disease, it was the bottle they trusted. One of the biggest problems with these all-in-one vitamins is the inclusion of excess niacin, also known as vitamin B3. In moderate amounts, niacin helps with cholesterol and circulation. But in high doses, which many multivitamins include for marketing impact, it can cause skin flushing, liver inflammation, and sudden drops in blood pressure. Combine that with other ingredients like ginseng, green tea extract, or guarana, and now you've added stimulants into the mix. Stimulants that can spike your heart rate, disrupt your sleep, trigger anxiety, or provoke arrhythmias. And most people have no idea they're taking them. Why? Because they're often listed under vague names like proprietary energy blend or natural vitality complex. It sounds clean and healthy, but in reality, it's a chemical cocktail your heart might not be able to handle. Even seemingly simple nutrients can cause harm in excess. For example, vitamin A, a common ingredient in multivitamins, can become toxic when taken in large amounts over time, especially in older adults. The liver processes vitamin A, and once those stores are full, toxicity can quietly develop, leading to fatigue, dizziness, nausea, and even vision problems. Again, these symptoms are often blamed on age, but they may very well be the result of over-supplementation. And because the symptoms don't arrive with flashing lights or sirens, most people never make the connection between their multivitamin and how poorly they feel. So, why does this happen? The answer is simple. These products aren't designed for your unique body. They're designed for the shelf. The goal isn't your health, it's sales. And that means cramming as many ingredients into one pill as possible, regardless of whether your body needs them, can process them, or will suffer under their weight. The sad truth is, a supplement that might have been harmless at age 35 can become dangerous at 70. Your kidneys process differently. Your liver metabolizes slower. Your heart responds more sensitively to stimulation. What once gave you a gentle energy boost might now send your pulse racing. And yet, the label still tells you it's safe, effective, and made just for seniors. This is why I always tell my patients, simplicity is your greatest ally. You don't need a pill with 20 ingredients you can't pronounce. You don't need vague blends and mysterious extracts. You don't need to be impressed by numbers like 300% of your daily value. What you need is clarity. What you need is precision. What you need is to work with your doctor or pharmacist to identify exactly what your body lacks, and then supplement only that, at the right dose, with the right timing. So before you take another multivitamin because the box looks trustworthy or the name sounds comforting, stop and ask yourself, do I know what's actually in this? Has anyone looked at my blood work to confirm I need these things? Is this helping me feel better, or could it be doing harm I can't yet see? Because your heart doesn't read labels. It doesn't care what color the bottle is. It responds only to what you put inside your body. And if that pill contains more than your heart can handle, the consequences may unfold slowly, silently, and dangerously. The truth is, the more complex the supplement, the more careful you need to be. Your body doesn't need 12 pills a day. It doesn't need to be pushed harder. It needs support, rest, balance, and kindness. And that begins by choosing your supplements not based on fear, not based on advertising, but based on science, on wisdom, and on personal understanding of what your body actually requires. In the next section, we'll talk about what to do instead. What supplements, if any, truly support the aging heart without overwhelming it? What are the safe choices for most seniors? And how can you build a routine that helps rather than harms? The answer isn't complicated. In fact, it's refreshingly simple. Let's explore what your heart really needs and how less can often be more. After hearing all the warnings, after uncovering the hidden risks behind some of the most trusted supplements, it's only natural to ask the next question. So, what's left? What should I be taking? If so many pills in my cabinet may be doing more harm than good, what actually helps? What can I trust to support my body? Not just because a label says so, but because the science and the experience of thousands of patients say it works. The good news is that not all supplements are harmful. In fact, a few, when chosen carefully and used wisely, can be extremely beneficial, especially for seniors whose bodies are changing and adapting in ways that often require gentle support. But the key is precision. The key is simplicity. The key is no longer taking everything just in case, but rather knowing what your body truly needs and offering it exactly that. Let's begin with one of the most overlooked but essential nutrients for older adults, vitamin D3. This is not just a vitamin for bones. It plays a vital role in regulating blood pressure, supporting immune function, and even reducing inflammation throughout the body. For seniors who live in colder climates, who spend less time outdoors, or whose skin no longer synthesizes sunlight as effectively as it used to, vitamin D3 becomes more than helpful. It becomes necessary. Most people are mildly deficient and don't even know it, and that deficiency can contribute to fatigue, bone loss, and even mood changes. When supplemented properly, D3 can offer quiet, steady benefits that improve quality of life in subtle but important ways. Next, we turn to a mineral that is often forgotten, but absolutely essential: magnesium. This humble mineral is involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in the body, and yet many people are deficient, especially older adults whose absorption levels decline with age. Magnesium helps maintain a steady heartbeat, eases muscle tension, supports healthy sleep, and aids in managing blood sugar and blood pressure. It's especially helpful for those who suffer from nighttime cramps, restless legs, or irregular heartbeats. Unlike stimulants or megadoses of synthetic vitamins, magnesium works gently, quietly restoring balance without pushing the body too far. And it's best taken in chelated forms or as magnesium glycinate or citrate, forms your body can absorb without gastrointestinal distress. And then there's omega-3 fatty acids, usually sourced from fish oil or plant-based flaxseed oil. These are the nutrients that nourish the very lining of your blood vessels. They reduce inflammation, improve circulation, and help lower triglycerides, factors that are especially important for heart health in aging bodies. Omega-3s also support brain health, which is why they're often recommended for cognitive protection. If your diet doesn't include fatty fish like salmon or sardines at least twice a week, then an omega-3 supplement may offer the kind of anti-inflammatory support your body can no longer produce on its own. But again, quality matters. Choose a product that's third-party tested, free from mercury and contaminants, and ideally in triglyceride form for better absorption. Beyond these three, vitamin D3, magnesium, and omega-3s, there are a few other nutrients that may be helpful depending on your personal health profile. For example, vitamin B12 is often needed in supplement form after age 60, as the stomach produces less of the acid needed to absorb it naturally from food. B12 supports nerve health, energy metabolism, and mental clarity. It's particularly important for those experiencing fatigue, brain fog, or tingling in the hands and feet. Likewise, coenzyme Q10, CoQ10, may benefit those taking statin medications, which can deplete natural levels of this important enzyme used for cellular energy and heart health. But again, none of these should be added based on guesswork. They should be chosen based on blood work, symptoms, and clear medical advice. And perhaps more important than any individual supplement is this truth: supplements should never replace healthy habits. They should support them. No pill can undo a sedentary lifestyle, a highly processed diet, poor sleep, or chronic stress. Your body, especially as it ages, responds not just to what you swallow, but to how you live. The goal is not to fill a shelf with pills, it's to build a life that supports healing from the inside out. A brisk walk, a deep breath, a joyful conversation, a moment of gratitude. These are just as therapeutic as any capsule you could buy. So, when you think about what your body needs, think first of your routine. Are you eating a variety of whole foods? Are you moving every day, even gently? Are you sleeping well? Are you managing stress, staying connected to others, drinking water, listening to your body? Once those foundational questions are addressed, then supplements can become a tool, not a crutch, but a quiet partner in your wellness journey. When choosing a supplement, aim for purity, not complexity. Look for products with minimal ingredients, no artificial fillers or colorings, and third-party testing. Be wary of brands that promise the world. Be even more cautious with products labeled for seniors that include stimulants, megadoses, or unverified blends. And most importantly, bring your full list to your doctor or pharmacist at least once a year. Have the conversation. Ask if anything needs to be removed, changed, or reduced. Ask if you're taking something unnecessary or missing something essential, because your health at this stage of life isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters most. It's about listening more closely, choosing more carefully, and letting go of the myth that more pills equal more protection. In fact, the opposite is often true. In the next and final section, we'll bring everything together. We'll talk about what truly protects your heart, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Because the strongest heart isn't just the one with the best blood flow. It's the one you take care of with intention, patience, and love. Let's close this journey with one powerful truth. Your heart still has time to heal, if you choose to listen. By now, you may be looking at your supplement cabinet with a mix of questions and clarity. Perhaps you've realized that some of the pills you've taken for years may not be serving you as well as you once believed. Perhaps you've discovered that less can be more, and that health is not built on bottles, but on wisdom. But beyond all the facts and warnings, there's a deeper truth we need to come home to, one that every pill, every vitamin, every health decision should point toward. That truth is this: no supplement will ever replace the power of a life well lived. The rhythm of your heart is not only shaped by what you consume, but by how you move, how you breathe, how you rest, how you love, and how you find peace within yourself. Too often, we search for solutions in capsules because they feel quick, easy, and tangible. And yet the things your heart truly craves, the things that protect it most, cannot be packaged in a pill. Your heart needs oxygen-rich blood, yes, but it also needs joy. It needs movement. It needs meaningful connection. It needs rest that goes deeper than sleep. It needs you to slow down, to listen, and to stop treating your health like a checklist and start treating it like a relationship. A living, breathing relationship with the one body you've been given. Let's begin with the foundation: movement. Your heart is a muscle, and like all muscles, it must be used to stay strong. This doesn't mean running marathons or lifting heavy weights. It means walking, stretching, dancing in the kitchen, gardening, taking the stairs, moving your arms, moving your legs, moving your breath. 30 minutes a day of gentle movement, broken into small, manageable pieces, is more powerful for your heart than any multivitamin ever created. It keeps your blood flowing, your arteries flexible, your mood elevated, and your body in rhythm. If you haven't moved much in a while, start small, a few minutes at a time, then a few more. Let your body remember that it was made to move. Next, let's talk about food, real food. Food that looks like it came from the earth, not from a machine. Leafy greens, colorful vegetables, berries, nuts, seeds, beans, whole grains, clean proteins, and healthy fats. These foods carry not just vitamins and minerals, but life. They work with your body instead of against it. They reduce inflammation, support circulation, and nourish every cell, every organ, every heartbeat. No pill can replicate the complexity of real food, and no amount of supplementation can undo a diet built on sugar, salt, and ultra-processed products. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to follow the trendiest diet. You simply need to return to the basics. Eat with intention, eat with color, eat with gratitude. Then comes rest, and not just sleep, but true, restorative rest. A calm nervous system, a quiet mind, a space in your day where you're not rushing, scrolling, worrying, or comparing. Chronic stress is one of the most silent and powerful threats to your heart. It keeps your body in fight or flight mode, raises your blood pressure, inflames your arteries, disrupts your sleep, and drains your energy. Rest is not laziness, it is recovery. Make time to breathe deeply, to sit in silence, to listen to music that soothes you, to be still without guilt. Even 10 minutes of stillness can reset your entire system. Your heart notices. It thanks you with steadier beats and deeper ease. And perhaps more than anything else, your heart needs connection. We were never meant to navigate this life alone. Loneliness is not just emotional, it's physiological. It weakens the immune system, raises cortisol, and shortens lifespans. Reach out, call a friend, join a community group, sit in conversation with someone you trust. Share your story. Listen to theirs. Connection doesn't require crowds. It requires authenticity. One meaningful conversation can nourish your heart more deeply than a bottle of supplements ever could. Finally, come back to the power of choice. Every day, your heart beats over 100,000 times. Not once has it asked for applause. Not once has it taken a break. It has carried you through loss, through love, through laughter, through stress, through silence. And now, it is asking for something simple in return, that you choose wisely, that you honor its labor not with excess, but with awareness, that you build a life, not a medicine cabinet, where healing can happen naturally. So before you add another pill, pause. Before you believe another label, question it. Before you chase another promise, ask yourself what your heart is truly asking for. Is it food? Is it movement? Is it rest? Is it stillness? Is it connection? Is it love? These are the real nutrients of a long and vibrant life. These are the real protectors of your heart, and no supplement can ever replace them. In the next and final section, we'll bring everything together. We'll return to the heart, not as a medical concept, but as the center of your life. We'll explore how change, even late in life, is not only possible, it is powerful. And we'll end with one promise that is carried generations through. Your heart still has time if you choose to listen. If you've come this far, if you've read through the warnings, the science, the gentle corrections, and the hopeful suggestions, then I want to pause here and say something very simple, but very true. It's not too late. No matter your age, no matter how long you've taken the wrong supplement or ignored the quiet signs in your body, no matter what has been missed, dismissed, or misunderstood, it is not too late. Your heart is still beating, and that alone is the most powerful invitation you will ever receive. An invitation to begin again, to live differently, to live wisely, to live with intention. You don't need to be perfect to change. You just need to choose to listen. I've spent decades listening to hearts, not just through stethoscopes, not just through machines, but through people's stories. I've sat beside patients in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and even 90s who thought they had run out of chances. Some believed the damage was too deep, the habits too ingrained, the cost of change too high. And yet I've seen those same people walk out of my clinic lighter, not just in body, but in spirit, because they realized something. The moment you choose to listen to your body, to your truth, to the signals that have been whispering to you all along, healing begins. Sometimes slowly, sometimes with a single step, sometimes with a quiet no, to one more pill and a courageous yes, to a different way of living. Your heart doesn't judge your past. It doesn't keep score of your mistakes. It simply wants to keep going. For you, for your family, for the life you still have yet to live. And it can go longer, stronger, steadier if you give it the chance. That chance starts not with a prescription, but with a question. What is my body asking for? Is it asking for less? For rest? For movement? For honesty? Is it asking for a simpler supplement list? A cleaner plate? A longer walk? A deeper breath? A more intentional life? These are not complicated things. They're not expensive or difficult, but they do require something rare in our modern world: attention. And once you give it, your body will meet you with grace. Let today be the day you stop believing every pill is safe just because it's sold over the counter. Let today be the day you bring your list to your doctor, not with fear, but with curiosity. Let today be the day you clean out the shelf, ask better questions, listen more closely, and simplify what has become too crowded. Let today be the day you stop chasing health and start protecting it from the inside out. Your heart has been loyal to you. Through heartbreak, through stress, through late nights, through every birthday and every loss, it has worked for you in silence, in darkness, in pressure, in pain. And now it's asking for something in return: that you see it, that you listen, that you stop rushing past the symptoms and the signs, that you stop believing more is better, that you remember you are still alive, and while you are still alive, you can still make new choices. The supplements you take are not just pills, they are decisions. The food you eat is not just fuel, it is information. The way you breathe, move, sleep, speak, and think, each one of these is a message to your heart, and your heart is always listening. So speak gently, choose wisely, live kindly, and trust that no matter what has happened before, your next chapter can be one of strength, of healing, of clarity, of renewal. You don't need to be afraid. You don't need to be overwhelmed. You are not alone in this journey. Every senior I've ever worked with has reached this turning point, the moment between habit and healing, between assumption and awareness. And the ones who chose to change, even in small ways, always found this one truth to be real: your heart is more forgiving than you think. So here is my final encouragement to you, not as a doctor, not as a writer, but as someone who truly cares. Your heart still has time. If you choose to listen, let that truth guide your next decision. Let it soften the fear. Let it ignite the hope. Let it remind you that even now, especially now, you are worthy of the life your heart still wants to live. If you have been through this journey, then you already know. This was never just about vitamins. It was about clarity, about protecting what matters most, about remembering that the strength of your heart is not measured by how many supplements you take, but by how gently, wisely, and lovingly you choose to live. This isn't the end of your journey. It's the beginning of a better one. One where your choices are rooted in truth, not trends. One where you simplify, slow down, and finally listen to the voice your body has been using all along. One where every beat of your heart is no longer taken for granted, but honored. So if this series has spoken to you, if even one truth has helped you pause and see things differently, I invite you to stay connected. There's so much more we'll explore together about health, healing, and the kind of wisdom that grows with age, not fades. Please consider subscribing to this channel so you won't miss any future content designed with your journey in mind. And if this message resonated with you, if you believe it could help someone you love, take a moment to like this video and share it. That one small action might be the nudge another heart needs to begin again. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to listen. And thank you for honoring your heart, not just with supplements, but with your life. Until next time, stay well, stay strong, and remember, your heart still has time.